And only about 1 hour ago, police came out and said they were able to take a 22-year-old into custody. An officer-involved shooting that happened right outside of the Stockton Police Department last night. These doors you see right behind me here are where 6 of their officers rushed outside of this massive tree over here fell on Tuesday night, and neighbors have spent the past 2 days working to help clean this up. Plus, the governor floats a new way to give you a break on rising gas prices. But how much could you really save? Just the indoor water park alone is said to be the size of the entire field at Levi's Stadium, where the San Francisco 49ers play. Many of the folks forced to move out of here today told me they are only going right across the street. This was the home that 71-year-old Wanda Clark was in danger of losing here in the heart of Oak Park, and many of which are still digging out, like this car you see right behind us in the Safeway parking lot in Elk Grove on Black Friday. Talking with shoppers about this excitement. This Home Depot is about to open in 5 minutes. We're here with Marvin. Marvin, what are you shopping for?
Thanks, guys. You guys okay? You need anything?
Scott and Becky Ishmael just lost everything, and yet they're more concerned about making sure firefighters passing by
And everything in the garage, whatever you need.
are okay.
We'd set ourselves up to make this kind of our dream place, and currently the dream is still here, but the home isn't.
This comes only 2 years after losing their nephew, El Dorado County Sheriff's Deputy Brian Ishmael, who was killed in the line of duty.
This is one of Becky's pieces. Look at it. It just melted it.
Scott had just retired from his job as a physician's assistant the Friday before the river fire started.
Well, when I retired, I thought I'd get her a big surprise. I didn't realize how big a surprise.
They were taking an afternoon nap when planes flying above woke them up, and flames on the ridge were approaching.
In the 10 minutes, I didn't have enough time to get everything.
When they returned after evacuating,
This is what you see of a house this was the cove of the backyard.
there was, however, a pile of old framed photos, paperwork, and even some jewelry sitting on a bench outside of the home. They later learned it was a firefighter who bravely went in to grab what he could.
The breath just kind of left me that they would risk their lives and go in and grab the few things that they could.
And while they're still waiting on insurance adjusters to call them back, they're focused on rebuilding, even rolling out the original floor plans to their dream home found tucked away in a detached garage saved from the fire.
Fires will come, fires will go. If you live your whole life worrying about things, you're not living your life.
We're here in the heart of South Sacramento, where it's a melting pot made up of many different cultures, where many of which don't use English as their first language. That's why this community-based clinic is set up to help interpret in 12 different languages. It's a big day for Nate, too, and his 91-year-old grandfather, Hien.
Me and my grandpa got our second shot.
Hien only speaks Cantonese and Vietnamese and is also struggling with dementia, so he relies on his family for help.
When you go to South Sac or things like that, you generally think they'll speak Chinese or Vietnamese like that. And if you go to a different part of Sacramento, they won't be very populated with that community. So it'll be harder for him to, able to communicate.
That's why Sacramento City Councilwoman Mai Vang, who is a first-generation Hmong American herself, says at her clinic they've got options.
So we have Hmong, we have Chinese, we have Tagalog, we have Vietnamese.
And that's just to name a few, with paperwork, signs, and volunteer translators in 12 different languages available. She says of the people that have gone through her clinic in the past 6 weeks, almost half said English is not their primary language, or they don't speak English at all.
So all the folks who are volunteering today are from community-based organization, residents in the neighborhood stepping up to do the interpretation, right? But that shouldn't happen. It should be standard. Government, entities, folks should make sure that this is standardized so we have that support already.
And it's the translators like 18-year-old Sacramento State student Yi Tao who aren't just responsible for checking people in, but for easing some concerns too in their own language.
Knowing that someone like you is also taking the vaccine, because I've also told them that I also took the vaccine and that I'm fine, and how it's completely fine if you get some sort of headaches or symptoms afterwards. And so having that real reassurance, I think, also helps them overcome their hesitancy.
It's really helped them because it's more than a year people just stay at home, and then this will help it get better.
And although the languages might be different, the gratitude is universal.
You can just tell by the way when they walk out just how relieved they are.
To sign up for an appointment at next Friday's clinic here at the Pinnell Center, all you have to do is go through one of their community-based organizations. We've posted that information for you on our website at abc10.com. Just click on links. It's back to work for Mark Laver.
Actually, the last 3 weeks I've been here every day.
And his trusty assistant,
Johnny, service dog.
who refuses to leave his side.
And this is Boulder.
16 years ago, Mark pushed his 5-year-old son, Johnny, at the time, in his wheelchair through this very entrance.
I was inspired probably almost 20 years ago when our little boy would go to playgrounds and there weren't a lot of features for him.
That's when the Universal Universe Playground was unveiled, with Johnny front and center, a concept new to Sacramento back then, with all-inclusive play structures, padded surfaces, access ramps, and handrails.
And it was just a great spot to come.
But after more than a decade of growing up on this inclusive playground, his son Johnny passed away from meningitis complications in 2019.
And then I just thought, after he passed away, it was just a way for me to reach out to the community and make sure other kids had the opportunity that he had.
Noticing the park had fallen into disrepair, Mark approached the city and began fundraising. Nearly $40,000 raised later, the so-called We Go Round broke ground, and the city chipped in too, putting in all new surfaces to cover up the wear and tear. Soon they'll add a special sensory music area, new bathrooms, and braille signage for visually impaired kids. And while the work may still take a few more weeks, as four-legged Boulder sits in for Johnny, Mark says it's a job well worth it.
My little boy, I know, would be proud of what we're doing. Johnny, I know he's looking down.